himself. I need to concentrate my thoughts no longer. I can let them go. In a second, he had gone rapidly through the past, the jealousy that had burned in his heart, and the way that he had quieted himself and made his scheme, and carried it out slowly. It had been finished that afternoon, when he had lost control over himself, and through the transparent leaves of the tree near him, the sun came with a greenish glare. He shuddered and turned away so that he could not see it. Yes, he was to escape. He had made all arrangements for that. He drew from his side pocket a roll of notes and counted them, and entered the numbers in his pocketbook. He had changed a cheque for £50 at the bank that morning. The police would find that out, and endeavour to trace him by discovering whether notes with those numbers were changed. That was one of his means of escape. He would see to it that the notes were never changed by himself, or in any town where he had been, or was likely to be. He was going to sacrifice those £10 notes to put the police on the wrong scent. He had plenty of money ready in gold that could not be traced, for his own needs. He chuckled to himself. It was brilliant, this scheme for providing a wrong scent, for making the very carefulness and astuteness of the detective the stumbling block in their way. And it would be so easy to get the notes changed by others. The dishonesty of ordinary human beings would serve his purpose. His mood had now changed to one of exultation. He told himself time after time that he was right. The law would condemn him, but morally he was right, and had only punished the woman as she deserved to be punished. Only he must escape, and yes, he must not forget. He looked round. There was still no one near, but his position did not satisfy him. Not a person must see what he was going to do next. He went on and found a spot near the canal, where he seemed to be out of sight and more secure from interruption. Then he took from his pocket a little looking-glass and a pair of scissors. Very carefully he cut away his beard and moustache that hid the thin-lipped wide mouth and the small weak chin. He cut as close as he could, and when he had finished, he looked like a man who had neglected to shave for a day or two. A barber would shave him now without suspicion. He was satisfied with the operation. The glass showed him a face so changed that it startled him to look at it. He glanced at his watch. It was time to start for the station, where his luggage had been waiting since the day before, if he meant to get shaved on the way there. He walked a little way and sat down. How well everything had been thought out, he said to himself. All would succeed, with a new name and in another country, without that drunken, faithless, beautiful woman. He would grow happy again. He had only meant to sit down for a minute or two, but his thoughts rambled and became nonsense, and suddenly he fell into a deep sleep. He had been overtaxed. An hour passed. The train that he had intended to take steamed out of the station, and still he slept. It grew dusk, and still he slept. When the park keeper touched him on the shoulder, he half awoke and spoke querulously. Then consciousness came back, and slowly he realized what had happened. As he walked slowly out of the park, his mind refreshed with sleep, he for the first time realized something else. In the awful moment when he had left the woman, he had broken down and forgotten everything. The bag of gold was still lying on the table of the room with the green blind. He must go back and get it. It would be horrible to re-enter that room, but it could not be helped. He dared not change the notes himself, and in any case, that amount would be insufficient. He must have the gold. It added, he told himself, slightly to the risk of discovery, but only slightly. His servants had all been sent out, and were not to return until 9:30. No one else could have entered the house. He would find everything as he left it, the gold on the table, and the figure of the woman on the couch. He would let himself in with his latchkey. No passer-by would take any notice of so ordinary an incident. He had no occasion.